hypocrites. Which kind?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
Nigeria's midnight is not about the dumping. You can come and salvage us from where we are.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Honorable Wisdom Lan Ayarabu. Honorable Wisdom is a political analyst and he's the pioneer leader, Deservation Project 774 local government areas. Good morning, Honorable, and welcome to Open Conversation.
Good morning, Nigerians.
And on today, Police Command received a distress call reporting a loud explosion at APP Secretariat located in Tombia Extension GRA Phase 2, Port Harcourt. The Commissioner of the Police, River State Command, and a team of tactical units with experts from the Explosives Ordnance Disposal Squad were immediately mobilized to the scene to assess the situation. The team cordoned off the area and commenced explosive ordnance disposal procedures and search operations. The command
Situations like this, remember also that even before the detonation of this very device at the APP Secretariat, some weeks back, we also had this same issue, you know, at the Presidential Hotel in Port Harcourt. But taking it back to the subject of the day, first of all, it is not a good one at all. And I must say that it is those who are enemies of democracy, especially those who are enemies of the people in River State. Because today, like we know, we are running a multi-party system, and there are over number of political parties that, you know, are in existence both in River State and Nigeria at large. So, but why was the attack, you know, specifically, you know, on the APP was just one thing and very clear. Because they continue to, you know, come up publicly to incite people. And even when they also act their own drama and come up with their own properly detailed...
Which people are coming out publicly to incite?
Larissa, you remember that during the End Bad Governance protest in River State, in Nigeria at large, there were a lot of attacks against the APC-led federal government, and which also River State was not, you know, out of place. But when that particular incident occurred, I was among those who, you know, stood my ground to say that, one, in as much as APC Secretariat or APC gate at their Secretariat was vandalized by some of these hoodlums, that it was a script. And I make bold to say that, but in the statement of the former CTC chairman, whom the court has declared TV, those who are behind that particular act are the enemies of River State, the enemies of democracy in River State, and the same people who continue to incite Rivers people negatively against the government of the day.
And you narrowed it down. And when I asked you, yes, the persons who were inciting...
Well, the truth is that I wouldn't want to...
When I asked you about the persons who were inciting Rivers people against the governor,
yes,
you narrowed it down to Tony Okocha. You narrowed it down to the APC. Do you have proof of the allegation that you have made that the APC is behind the bombing of APP Secretariat?
Well,
and
Larissa,
what do they stand to profit?
The front,
you appear to know so much about their activities, particularly with local government elections, the upcoming local government elections. So can you tell me one candidate of APP?
Well, so far it is within RISEC to publish the names of those who have been, you know, won their primaries, because I know for sure that most of the political parties and political activities that has resumed since the 1st of August, You know, even while the End Bad Governance protest was ongoing, there's been a lot of drums here and there. The political drum has been ongoing, although research is yet to come out publicly to publish, just like the same way INEC does, because I cannot come out to say I know their front runners when research has not been able to come out publicly to publish those who have qualified based on the prerequisite, you know. So, but taking it back to
because you apparently know a lot about.
I know, absolutely, because I'm a stakeholder. So, but taking
you're
it back,
a stakeholder of APP, but you don't know their candidates.
Well, like I said, even in as much as I'm even a member of the APP, let's say, assuming not considering I'm a member of the APP, I'm not at liberty to give you that information until the party, you know, with the document that was submitted to the INEC, you know, comes to public limelight. You can go on.
You've already said before now that you don't know the candidate.
Exactly. So now taking it back to the motive. The motive is that, one, they want to destabilize the APP because it is assumed that APP is among the front runners of the political parties that are happening right now in Rivers State.
Really?
Considering their day-to-day activities, their meetings, they are almost everywhere. If you recall vividly, that a few weeks, even
we are not
activity.
delving. We
Absolutely.
are not delving.
No, I'm coming back. I'm coming. I'm trying to make a build-up.
No, hold on. You cannot deflect.
I'm not trying to deflect.
So focus on APP.
Yeah, exactly.
I asked you their motive. You have answered.
Yeah, their motive is because they are against. Exactly.
And you said the motive is because there are rumors that they.
Yes, and I'm here to respond to you on the issue of the evidence.
Hold on.
As regards the people who orchestrated that.
I need us to take it one by one so that you don't scatter everywhere. Yes. So now, you have answered their motive, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, you have alleged that APC, in fact, Tony Okocha precisely, and the caretaker committee of APC, the SY caretaker committee of APC in Rivers State, are behind the bombing of the APP secretariat. And I have asked you, can you substantiate that?
Okay.
What proof do you have?
Choma, thank you very much once again. Let me throw a little more light to what I said before.
All right.
The people who are, quote me, behind the bombing of the APP secretariat are the enemies of the peace in Rivers State.
Who are they?
I'm coming, Choma, hold on. And remember that on different fora, until just like the police PPRO, Grace Irengi, SP Grace Irengi, came out, he said that investigations so far, they have been able to, including both eyewitness reports and all of that, they're still putting all that together. I am not a police officer, although I know that until all these data are collated, then we cannot be, because there are forensic activities that ought to go behind the scene for the confidentiality of this investigation, so that at the end of the day, the Rivers people can be able to get to know those who are the real enemies of Rivers State. Right. And again, I also want to, in what I already said, our Nigerian police, considering the fact that the report of the eyewitness and as well as the few materials and evidence, that were at the scene of crime, I think that this is the time that we need the best of our Nigerian police force, for them to come to the aid of Rivers people, because I believe that our Nigerian police force and every other agent of government of Nigeria has everything in terms of resources, material resources, intellectual resources, digital resources, and otherwise, to give us, including fingerprints, including call data logs, including everything that happened. Because in as much as we don't have CCTV cameras on the streets, but I can tell you that there is nothing that can happen in Nigeria that cannot be traced, including calls and the rest of them. So with what they have already gathered, I believe that a forensic report ought to come out, and we can be able to come out publicly, and I'll be among those, to stand on the national TV to call those enemies of Rivers State by their names.
Well, interestingly, you have already, by your statement, actually accused the APC as a party. You've also accused Tony Okocha as a person. You have accused them, and I have asked you if you can substantiate that. And now you are telling me that it is now the job of the police. You cannot say anything. You cannot call them out when the police have not said so and they are still doing their investigation. But you have already gone ahead to clearly state that these are the persons that are behind it. So clearly you have failed to bring evidence or substantiate the serious allegation you have made. So since you cannot substantiate that, I will merely, conclude that everything you have said is a conspiracy theory.
That's not true, Choma.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
It's a conspiracy theory. And since you cannot substantiate it, it's merely circumstantial as it stands. At best, that's what it is. Because, coming on national television and making strong statements, with so much confidence, and people are watching you, people are drawing conclusions from what you are saying, and there are a lot of persons who are your fans, Honorable Lan, and they will run with what you have said so far. So if you're making statements that have the capacity to hit up the polity, it is expected that if there is a clapback, you'll be able to substantiate to a large extent, beyond reasonable doubt, what you have said. So you have said they are enemies of the state. You have even narrowed it down to their actions. You've narrowed it down to the political party. You have said what the motive, behind the actions were, but you could not bring evidence to substantiate everything you have said. Now, it is your opinion, and I respect that, but I also have to raise a disclaimer, that it is strictly your opinion and not that of ATN. Now, moving on to Edo State,
before you go on, I'm sorry, just
right.
1 second. Just to throw a little clarity to what I already said, and I still stand to my word.
The more you throw clarity,
hold on.
The more you're indicting yourself.
No, I'm not indicting myself. And remember that I'm a man of repute, that I go by my word, because my word is my bond. I'll continue to say, Nigeria has a procedure, in as much as somebody you might, be a life witness, or somebody who saw how a scene, be a life witness as a scene of crime, until the investigation is concluded. You don't come out publicly until the court of competence are enemies of the peace and stability in Rivers State, and above all, the enemies of democracy and the enemies of Governor Siminaye Fubara.
All right, we will not, while I am, hard-pressed to actually go into the peace in Rivers State, the assumed peace in Rivers State.
But when you say it's assumed,
hold on. Why I am hard-pressed to go into that, because that is your opinion and it is respected. Some persons hold dissenting views, and yes, you've bantered with them on my show, Honorable Lan. They have dissenting views, and their views will be respected as well. But when you say there is peace in Rivers State, granted, to a large extent, the polity has been calm, thankfully, has been calm.
Thank you for acknowledging.
And we cannot say those lives that were lost did not matter. They mattered. And they died because of the crisis in Rivers State. Now, having said that, Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party on Sunday berated the State Police Command for alleged harassment and unlawful arrest of its chieftains ahead of the September 21 governorship poll in the state. The party called on the international community, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders to turn their attention to the election. The party also accused the police of conniving with the All Progressive Congress to keep its members out of circulation. Speaking at the press conference on Sunday in Benin, the state capital, the Director General of the Aswe Yodalo Osarodion become obvious with their dwindling members. Nigerians will recall that the All Progressive Congress in Edo State has been under intense violent attacks from the state-sponsored Edo State Security Network and public work volunteers. It was these groups that planned and murdered the security aide to Senator Monde Ekpobilo in cold blood at the Benin City Airport exit gate. Governor Obaseki should summarily disband the Edo State Security Network as a sign of his party's readiness for a peaceful election, he added. However, a top police officer of the Edo State Police Command said inquiries on the matter should be directed to the force headquarters in Abuja. Honorable Lan, interesting times ahead in Edo. Edo State has always been, volatile during.
First of all, it is no longer. Because I will tell you, democracy is the only tool by which sustainability is achievable, especially in Nigeria. In as much as if you do a proper X-ray, compare and contrast vividly between the military regime in Nigeria and the democracy we have today, I can tell you, apart from the season of our former president, whom I Obasanjo, he has been the president Nigeria has ever wished for. And apart from him, I can tell you that if you put all other presidents till date, the military era has been better off than what we've experienced. That's the honest truth. Because looking at including both the infrastructures, looking at including both the dividends of democracy, looking at both the... Yes.
But now I'll be forced to take you, being better off, I'll be forced to take you back to
Absolutely.
1984, 1985, when Buhari, the former President Buhari, was the...
Your own view and also your perception. But let's look at it critically on the way and manner by which people were surviving. Like you said, today, even in our democracy, Nigeria is the only place in the world, options and by their way of living, you get to know that this particular man is from Nigeria as a result of the hardship, the experience, and what they go through, especially even within this current democratic government. But now, bringing a comparison to the military era, if you look at, yes, you made an instance. If you remember also, when head of state, Olusegun Obasanjo, was the head of state of Nigeria.
The military.
In the military. He was the one that handed over to Shehu Shagari. And he wanted to bring this democracy because he knew the importance of democracy to our people. And the sense is that...
How was it better?
After a while, immediately, Buhari's term as a military head of state was over. Remember, it was IBB that usurped Buhari. Nigeria had a breath of fresh air. Nigeria, if you look at the 8 years of Buhari in democratic governance and compare the number of years that Buhari was the military head of state, you see that they are not the same. And in between these two terms as well, Nigerians were, were engulfed with excruciating pains and challenges, economic hardship and bottleneck, which is to the best of my knowledge, it's now something we've known Buhari for. You understand? Murdering or killing or a lot of things were happening between those periods. But taking it back to the situation on ground, the military governance accent. Is this man's statement somebody who happened to be a representative of Nigeria, a Senate president, occupying a hallowed and exalted office, who is supposed to be detribalized and decentralized, not minding the party that sponsored him? Because at the moment right now, party shouldn't be his priority. As a matter of fact, Nigeria should be his priority as the Senate president of Nigeria, because he's not the Senate president of the APC. And he's coming up publicly to say that APC must take over Edo State. And we have seen on different fora, including what Adams Oshomole, my very distinguished, respected person, and other members of the APC continue to make this statement. Recall also that it was also when the APC governorship candidate, the senator, was coming from the airport, there was an incident that led to even a policeman being shot and killed at gunpoint. So
but that incident was against the APC candidate. That incident happened on the heels, just immediately after Shuaibu was reinstated as the deputy governor.
Yes.
So are you saying that APC will plot that kind of assassination attempt on its own candidate? Are you saying APC will plot attack on the deputy governor Shuaibu, knowing that Shuaibu, to a large extent, has foot soldiers politically that will sway results in the favor of APC?
I think I will categorically state that APC, with their mantra, which I know it is not in their constitution, it's not anywhere written, have said and have sworn that they must take over power by fire and by force, and which has continued. And they say actions and reactions are equal and opposite. When you go about a situation, take for instance, Shoma, in as much as both of us are having this conversation, we are being diplomatic, and that's the reason why not minding the tension. Look at even the situation, remember vividly that was the same time that the former deputy governor, the deputy governor, the reinstated deputy governor of Edo State, Shuaibu, was also with his team trying to join back the same APC that he called all sorts of names And in between that period, a lot of tensions were already in Edo State. So at that moment, you can't even, because even the government of the day will not have no business with Shaibu going to meet with the APC governor. So it is it's highly probable that those tensions and pressures could have, unveiled itself as a result of reaction at the moment. So it cannot be the government of the day.
So are you saying that APC in Edo State has imploded?
APC in Edo State has always imploded, because that was also the reason why, if you remember,
between APC
the governor
in Edo
of
State and PDP in Edo State, which party imploded actually?
Okay.
If you're being fair in your analysis.
Okay, fine. I will tell you based on my own personal view,
yes,
that the APC has imploded more. But the difference, why it has been properly managed, is because of the National Working Committee and the presidency. You understand? The National Working Committee and the presidency, because you know that the presidency is like a god in the APC as we speak. As a matter of fact, the way I'm hearing about it, even the National Working Committee chairman of the APC is now at the verge of, crying, because by the information and rumors with confidential memos that I have seen, that very soon he will be dispatched to Chad. He will no longer act as the National Working Committee chairman, which is Abdullahi Ganduje. Yes, I've seen the memo, and as a matter of fact, he's almost crying. Why his loyalty to the president, will be rewarded in that nature.
Right,
so I think the APC should stop using Nigerian police and Nigerian agencies to go about witch hunting and clamping down on other opposition government. Because if you remember, for fairness and democracy is all about fairness and equity. And for fairness and equity, if the PDP were not fair, PDP wouldn't have lost Edo State, if you remember Benishu. And PDP also wouldn't have reclaimed Edo State in 2019, if you remember. So this is the reason why.
How did PDP win Edo State?
Well, Edo State has always.
When you say these things,
yes,
are you well versed with Edo politics? How did PDP win Edo State in the first place?
Okay.
Who was instrumental to PDP reclaiming Edo State?
Okay. In as much as I wouldn't want to.
Can you be fair in your analysis?
Yes, I will be fair. I will be very, very
Try
fair.
to be fair.
Yes, and I will want to give honor to whom honor is due.
All right.
If you remember that as at the time of the election of the Edo State, the Ganduje today, who happened to be the national chairman of the APC, was the governor of Kano State, and also was the chairman of the governing council, the campaign council of the Edo State election, as at that time. And our very own, in the person of the current serving honorable minister of FCT, who happened to be the governor of Rivers State then, was also in the forefront of the Edo election. And he played a major role. Let me also tell you, because I was a witness, because I was part of that team, that or die affair. And again, I also want to tell the good people of Edo that they should take the mantle by themselves. Like my mantra in my own election, I said, let my people take their mandate and decide their future. Let the Edolites take their mandate and decide their future.
All right.
If their future is for them to start enjoying what they call a minimum wage, even when the federal government has not even approved it, and they were the first to taste it, I think that they were even the people who, among the Nigerians, that touched the Canaan. So there is need for them to take their mandate and decide their future. Thank you very much.
All right. So also joining me on Open Conversation is Chizi Nyomasila, a political analyst. Chizi, you have been smiling all the while. Honorable Land has been speaking so passionately. What do you make of Edo State? Banter?
Honorable Land is my friend. I know his position in certain things. But it was still Honorable Land that told us that the headquarters of executive rascality is Edo. And who was the governor? Or who is the governor?
Obaseki.
From which party? PDP. And that's the headquarters of executive rascality. And so if you are telling them to that key up to the same executive rascality, it's only in Edo, in Nigeria, in Africa, like I say in the whole world, that has stopped an elected legislators from being legislators.
About 10 of them, correct?
About 12. 12
of them.
From participating in any legislative work.
Throughout the tenure of
the same person. And now, if you feel that, I can say that, let me differ from my friend. This is what, to be objective with you.
All right.
He made mention, I just heard him, he made mention of that if the PDP were not fair, that in the first instance that APC would have won in Edo in the first instance if they weren't fair. Meaning that the APC was also fair because Bayelsa, PDP just won in Bayelsa.
And it's a ruling party, APC
It's a ruling
party.
APC. The truth is that in all our states, the PDP and APC has a way of crying and doing the same thing. If you go to APC state, just imagine what, I don't want to jump the gun, what is happening in Bauchi, where the APC is crying that the PDP...
don't jump the gun.
Okay. Now, I don't want to talk about that, but I just can tell you that these people are one and the same. After all, the Senate president that is just still talking now was on the PDP. Isn't it?
Absolutely.
Then they jump from here and then they turn to beat this other one, and they are all bringing the, like I keep saying, that leadership is value neutral. It is the person that comes on board that brings who he is to the same political party. It's not just the APC, it is the individuals that are there. They do whatever. He told us that our own brother and my friend Wiki was among those who delivered a dough, and that he yes.
Are you aware that right now you're making a confession?
Yes, I'm making a confession. It's not the one I mentioned.
You did something
that was very good, and we said it was the other people that was good. So, but I know that's what happens in politics.
All right.
You see all of them crying. They all have their ways. The governor is also doing certain things that are very wrong. The same way APC is doing, and that's my stand.
All right.
They should stop it and allow Edo to take their mandate by their hand. Especially, as Matra said.
Let the vote of the people count.
All
right. Opposition party in Bauchi, the All Progressive Congress, has rejected results of the local government election held in the state, describing it as a blatant robbery of the electorate's rights and a mockery of democracy. Correspondent reports that the ruling party in the state, the PDP, secured victory in all 20 local government areas during the elections held on Saturday, August 17. The executive chairman of the State Independent Electoral Commission, Alhaji Ahmed Makama, declared the results on Saturday night at his office. The chairman-elects, who and their deputies, are expected to be sworn in on Sunday, August 18. However, speaking at a press conference held at the party secretariat on Saturday, the APC legal advisor in the state, Barrister Rabiu Garba, criticized the election, alleging it was a political maneuver by the PDP-led administration in Bauchi State. He condemned the election, stating, "As we rightly pointed out yesterday, Basiek had no intention of conducting a free, fair and credible election. What we witnessed today in all 20 local government areas was a deceptive drama and a mockery of innocent voters and politicians." The APC demanded the immediate resignation of Ahmed Makama as the chairman of the commission, accusing him of failing to uphold his oath of office. The party also called on Basiek to cancel the local government elections conducted on August 17, 2024 in the state, urging the state government to dissolve the current management of the Electoral Commission and reconstitute a credible team to conduct fresh elections that will be free, fair, credible, and in line with international best practices. Chizzy, what is your take on this?
First, let me even commend the APC in Bauchi State for doing what I know politicians don't do. Which is to even participate in the local government election conducted by the state, electoral commission. Yes. Because you see, in most of the states, what normally happens is that major political party who knew that there is a political party, for instance, a PDP or an APC, the other ones will say they won't contest because, you see, they know what will happen. That's why I said in one of your sister stations, or even here, I said, tell me one local government or one state that you have seen another political party who is not the governor win election at the local government. That's why it's important for what we have real autonomy of the local government. Because look at it, it was even the resident electoral officer, the chairman, that is even the returning officer of the state. I mean, that is a local government election where I would have heard that, look, in this local government, this returning officer returned the election and declared, because that's what it's supposed to be. Yes. He's supposed to be supervising, and then they declare in each of the states. That's normally the same thing that happens in the state, because you don't see the chairman, the ANEC chairman, the national chairman declare election in the state, especially the governorship election. It's the resident electoral commissioner that does that. But let me even come back to the issue. They made series of demands. One of such demand is that they should cancel the election and reconduct an election. In the same demand, you ask that the chairman be sacked, you ask that the electoral body be dissolved, and then then who is going to reverse that election? The same election that you are asking for, who is going to reverse it? You are asking those who should reverse it to be dissolved, and you are asking the same people to reverse it. I think there is option. The option is to go to court, and I know that in going to court, if you have evidence that proves otherwise, I am sure that the judiciary will wake up to their responsibility to be able to do something. That's what I think, that they should go to the court to do that. But on the other side, are you also saying that it is not natural, or that the PDP cannot win Bauchi, or what? They are government in power. They were also in power at the local government. They may have done things that the people said they were going to vote for them. But I think that we should all insist and continue to have government reforms that will make the local government independent and autonomous in such that they will begin to dictate in their own place. That's the only reason why, as a person, most times if I am not in the party that is in power at the state level, at local government election, I don't even go for election. Why don't I go for election? Because I know what, I already know the result of what is going to happen. They will declare it. This is the Nigerian state.
Right.
I'm being frank with you. This is Nigerian state. This is what happened in Nigeria. And I want to say it again. I may not have gone through, I may not have traveled all the states of Nigeria. But I can tell you that I'm yet to hear one state that the governor is of the APC or the governor is of the PDP, that the local government, the other party won.
Yeah, and when Nasser El-Rufai was the governor,
yes,
of Kaduna State, he was, that election that held, the local government elections,
yes,
under him was, applauded greatly as free and fair. Other political parties actually emerged.
Exactly.
Other political parties, that happened in Nigeria. And I think other governors should probably copy that.
No, it
from Nasser El-Rufai.
Even then, let me even talk about this Nasser El-Rufai. Whether you like it or yes. El-Rufai has this mentality, professional mentality in doing things. Even at the primaries, he got the aspirants to write an exam. Do you know that he got them to write an exam as part of their
probably that should also be a criteria.
That's what we are all saying, that it should happen. That's why. But if it can't happen, we are insisting that, some of us are insisting that, look, have a local government autonomy so that people can go and contest elections. Some of us, like I said, I will say it anywhere, any day. Even the local government, even those who want to contest for local government chairman, do not go there to contest and want to win primaries. They are waiting for the governor to endorse them.
All right. All right. Honorable Land, what do you have to say about this?
Okay, I think I'll be brief on this one. First of all, my brother, I think maybe he quoted me on the wrong light as regards the previous conversation, but I'll let that slide. On the issue of that particular subject, which is the Bauchi. First of all, I want to give so much kudos to the Bauchi governor.
Why?
Yes, I will tell you. Maybe my brother here, according to him, he said he has not been able to travel. I've been vast to the level that out of 30 states of Nigeria, including the Federal Capital Territory, I've been vast enough to travel over 34 states. And I think maybe he's not aware. In one of the just concluded elections in Bauchi State, Labour Party won even when they had no candidate. I don't know if you're aware.
And there were cases and allegations of underage voting.
Well, that is when we now start talking about the issues related to INEC in terms of handling, including the RESEC, in terms of handling. But we are not talking about elections and how these elections are conducted. Labour Party, for instance, won over three wards in the just concluded elections. But because Labour Party did not field any candidate, that is to tell you that in as much as in Oyo State has always been sympathetic and has always shown empathy to the people. Remember that this same Oyo State was the same place that there was a bomb blast. That even the PDP presidential candidate of the party did not come to commiserate. And the governor of the state, who happened to be the PDP, was vocal enough to come up publicly and throw tantrums and musling the PDP presidential candidate. Hold on.
So, just a very quick question.
No, I'm coming.
Are you APC or your APP again?
I think when we want to discuss,
I know your APP.
when we want to talk about me, I think we'll bring that subject. But right now we're talking about the situation in Bauchi State.
I can't help but ask the question.
No, in as much as you can't help.
Because the truth is,
yes,
make it make sense to me.
Okay.
That regardless of the party, whether it's APC or PDP.
Absolutely.
But whenever local government council elections are being conducted, the ruling party of that state sweeps all the local governments. It's usually
which is not so good.
It's usually a case
of
the
winner
takes it all
Absolutely.
in council elections across the states. So make it make sense to me. If you're decrying APC sweeping all the local governments during election, how fair are you to make a case for PDP?
Okay.
Sweeping all the local governments in council elections. I mean, how biased is that?
Okay. Well,
why is it that in your case, whatever is good for the goose is not good for the gander?
Okay. Well, Choma, I am as constant as the Shakespearean Northern Star, whose firmament cannot be moved. Like I said, I always stand by my word. If, peradventure, that the Labour Party had fielded candidates in this just concluded election, we won't be here, Choma, saying this, because it was glaring that Labour Party won in 3 local governments in Bauchi State.
And that was also a case of underage
I'm coming. No. Like I said, when we are talking about underage voting, these are internal issues that ought to be handled as an internal mechanism by the INEC and the RISEC. We even in the 2023 general election that was
in this instance, the BASEC.
The BASEC, yeah, thank you very much for that correction. You know that even in Nigerian general election, the March 18th general election and the February election, we know that this same issue of underage voters has always been an issue. So, just like I said, I want to give a major thumbs up to the government of Bauchi State for upholding the election and making us to see the result and seeing that even Labour Party not fielding candidates were able to win. Although
Chizzy very quickly wanted to say something.
Yes, I just wanted to remind my brother what he told me. What he reminded me. What he said here.
All right, go on.
He was the person who told us that, and both of you reminded me that in Kaduna, that other
Nasser
El-Rufai, that other party won election, in local government election, and Nasser El-Rufai was APC. So it looks like to me that one example that you can readily give is the APC state.
No, that was then and not now, but we're talking about it now.
All right, gentlemen. Former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo has attributed the country's development stagnation to what he described as self-centered leadership, who lack relevant knowledge and understanding. Obasanjo spoke in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, at the weekend, while speaking as a special guest of honor at the Leadership Empowerment International Conference. Obasanjo said, leadership is a lasting virtue that endures until the end of one's life, stressing that once the issue of poor leadership is resolved, we will get other things right. In his words, in one word, what is the bane of Nigeria today? I will say it is leadership. Leadership that is self-centered, leadership that lacks knowledge and understanding, and leadership that does not view service as the core of what leadership is about. If we can get leadership right, we will get all other things right. He stressed that leadership must rise to its responsibilities to create a better world for all Nigerians. Let me start with you, Honorable Lan. I saw you nodding your head vigorously as I was reading the story. So what is your thoughts on this?
Oh, Choma, thank you very much, because I think an elder statesman ought to be given a standing ovation, and I must doff my helmet for that particular submission by the former president of Nigeria. Going to the meat of the issue, Nigerians' problem or the solution to all our economic challenges falls bare within poor leadership. And it has not just only, fall within the political class. Today, the reason why even on the streets, the vices affecting the youth, including is as a result of poor leadership. Take, for instance, what do some other countries, like in the Asia, what do they have, natural resource-wise? I can tell you that there are some states in Nigeria. Let me even remove River State. I can use Abia as an example, that Abia is well-rich more than some countries in the Asia.
Enugu has solid minerals.
No, I'm giving you an instance. I said Abia. When I use the word Abia, I can tell you, In one local government in Abia, there is so much large resources of kaolin, and kaolin is the most essential commodity for you to engage in production of ceramics, including even the ceramics, the pictures, the glasses, the TVs, and a whole lot. During my election, Lauricia, one of my political covenants to my people, I said to my people, is either we'll get it right or we'll go into economic oblivion. And that is exactly what Nigerians are going through, because leadership has, meritocracy on leadership has been, it has been murdered. It has been murdered. So, and until we start giving those who understand what leadership is all about, because one thing is to occupy power, and another thing is to have or be endowed with leadership. Leadership is different from governance. One can govern and yet they don't have the quality of leadership. But when you're a leader, you lead from the front. When you're a leader, you will definitely know, you need no supervision for you to be accountable to your people. When you're a leader, you don't even need the people to. What is happening in Nigeria? Take for instance what our brother said on Arise TV, distinguished Senator Ali Ndume, that even the president is not even aware of most of the activities that are happening in Nigeria. And with the evidence of what is happening, there is chances, or it's highly probable, that it might be true. Because if you also look at the rhetorics and the oratory speech of Mr. President to try to down the tension during the end bad governance, he only said, I have heard your complaint and we are working behind, everybody should go back home. And that, it shows you that there is no empathy. There's a disconnect. It shows you that in as much as these people are those who are governing us, who are ruling us, they are not leaders. And like my very reverend president, the most detribalized president of Nigeria, as a matter of fact, the best president that Nigeria has, a summary of Nigerian problem. And until leadership crisis is resolved, not minding the large deposit of natural resources we have, Nigeria will continue to dwell in oblivion, a land of no return. And there is need for most, especially my fellow political class, to stand up, you know, and take the bull by the horn and embrace quality, fundamental, and empathic leadership, so that service delivery to the people will be the order of the day. And in doing that, Nigeria will be a better place. Thank you very much.
I will still come back to you over some things you said. And
absolutely. I'll be waiting.
But then, Chizzy, let me hear from you. What do you have to say?
Yes, of course. What he said, if I want to differentiate it between actions and speeches, what he has said is the correct thing. I can't do some work as president. But I want to ask one question. There is something in Nigeria that I have always seen reoccur every time. Every time a man comes down from an office, he becomes a repentant person and becomes the preacher of good governance and good leadership. I mean, he had an opportunity. One of the key to leadership is engagement. The way you even employ somebody also counts in leadership. You were here with us, assuming nothing happened. We are not God to know what is going to happen. But there are history, there are intelligence that the president should have. And one of the intelligence is when he was going to hand over. When he was going to hand over. It is on record that we knew that. And I think that was what even facilitated the man's death. Because the office of the president is not a small office. It's an office where you have to be healthy a little bit for you to become office of the president. He talks about leadership. Yes, we do. Even in families. Children can't even come to you. But Obasanjo gave us Yaradua. And before you knew it, there was issues that came, and then, thank God, Jonathan became president. So he was there. He had all the first class people around him that he could have handed over. Obasanjo could have handed over to anybody in that. He had the foundation of democracy. And it's important to do that. That means that he was going to build a foundation for Nigeria.
He built a foundation.
God gave us a man that was going to build a foundation and hand over to people who will continue. Let me tell you that what will happen if Yaradua was healthy and fine, I wouldn't be talking this, because that would have meant that at least nobody says that if you're healthy you can't die.
All right. All right. Honorable Land.
Just a few things I want to, buttress upon.
All right.
Like my brother said, I want to take a total dissatisfaction or disagreement in some of his submissions when he said that Obasanjo, knowing fully that the former president of blessed memory and the person of late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, it's not charitable too, because you remember that this same Obasanjo, as much as we all know what has been happening within the political, as a matter of fact, even with the template that Yar'Adua has set up and the number of people Yar'Adua surrounded himself, if not for the Nigerians happening to Nigeria within the political ecosystem, we wouldn't have been where we are today. Take, for instance, when Yar'Adua was on board.
Was Yar'Adua healthy?
Choma, there's a submit there. Yes.
He made a point.
A very great point by succession.
Hold on.
Okay.
Chizzy made a point you cannot sweep under the carpet.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how you feel.
Absolutely.
Now, that point is he faulted the succession of Yar'Adua.
Okay.
Particularly with the ex-president Obasanjo knowing
the health situation.
Yes.
Okay.
And yet brought him in knowing that probably his health will not be able to carry on. You remember the issue between Ayadetiwa and Akeredolu?
Yes, I remember.
And how everything played out. Okay. And how at the end of the day, Tinubu had to order that handover should be done.
Okay.
So, like it or yes, we also need leaders that are healthy of mind, spirit, soul, and body to man the ship of Nigeria, because Nigeria is complex in its problems.
I agree. Larissa.
So you can't sweep that under the carpet.
No, I'm not sweeping that under the carpet, but I wish maybe you got to understand the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is this, Larissa. Right now, with the state of things, Obasanjo handed over to Yar'Adua with good programs, with good templates. And even in the absence of Yar'Adua, all those things ought to have thrived. If you get my point, you will know the direction we are headed. I'm not saying that because nobody is born to live forever. And I've also seen those who are so sick and yet, die before them. So we cannot use a natural occurrence of death and birth
you cannot excuse.
No, like I said, I'm not excusing. Listen, if we are saying, sorry, ma. If we are saying, for instance, that Goodluck Jonathan, knowing fully well the state of Nigeria, and handing over to Buhari, and after Buhari has led Nigeria and did and performed in his own maradonical and fallacious way, and the serving president today said that he wants to continue where Buhari stopped. Then we now see it was not just only to give us a leader, rather he laid a foundation that Nigeria was supposed to tread upon.
What was the foundation?
The foundation. Remember that as at the time when Obasanjo was not the president of Nigeria, Nigeria had a lot of debt, foreign debts. Nigeria had a lot of issues economically, in as much as even our exports and our imports were nothing to write home about. Digitally we were not even anywhere. But at the end of the day, Obasanjo was able to bring a lot of economic attraction to Nigeria. Right. So, but taking it back to the